What's up, guys? Phil from Phil Pro Fitness here. Today, right now, quick as I can, let's talk about weight loss, fat loss, whatever you want to call it. If you are overweight, you want to lose weight, let's first talk about how you gained weight so we can backtrack that so you know how to lose weight. You gained weight because you gave your body too much energy and you did not expend it. Okay? So, think of it like a car. If your car is full of gas, you don't need to buy anymore. You could buy more. You could fill up some 5-gallon tanks, 10-gallon tanks, stuff like that. But what are you going to do with that? You're going to store it, right? Body does the same thing. When your body is not using the energy, it goes into storage. So, foods that go into storage in your body are generally your carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are your energy. So, carbohydrates are your breads, pastas, grains, rice, stuff like that. Now, even if it's whole wheat, whole grain, brown, stuff like that, it doesn't matter. It's obviously the healthier option for you, but if your body doesn't need it, it will put it as fat. Obviously, simple sugars and stuff like that will need to be used faster because they're not as complex as, let's say, some vegetables or even the whole grains and stuff like that. That stuff as well stores as fat if you're not using the energy. So usually if you are feeling like you have low energy, something like that, you can give yourself some simple sugars, you'll start feeling better. Complex carbohydrates work that way, but at a slower rate. So let's say you're overweight. Last thing you need to be eating are carbohydrates. Okay, we really don't need them unless you are really expending a lot of energy throughout the day. Like if you're, just some professions require more energy than others. Someone who sits at a desk all day, 9 to 5, doesn't really need a lot of carbohydrates. Someone who's a construction worker or is physically working throughout the whole day, they need more carbohydrates than people who are just sedentary, sitting around. So, protein, carbs, and fats. Proteins are the building blocks of pretty much life. Your whole body is made up of protein, therefore protein is the most essential macronutrient. Then comes fats, then carbohydrates. Okay, so carbohydrates are pretty much, again, not needed. If you are consuming carbohydrates, you better make sure you're using the energy your body that you just gave your body. Excuse me. So proteins, the complete sources of proteins are pretty much animal products. If you are a vegetarian, depending on which type of vegetarian, there's lacto-uvu, there's uvu, there's pescatarian. So pretty much, I would say the best type of vegetarian would be a lacto-uvu pescatarian. Someone who consumes dairy and fish and eggs. So that stuff will make your journey much easier. Someone who's just eating just veggies and grains. Okay, so if you're, because again, we know that studies show that people with higher protein diets and less carbohydrate diets are less overweight than people that who have a higher carbohydrate diet and lower protein. Fat comes into play as well. So if you're someone who has a high protein diet, you need to have your fats up there as well. Be conscious on what type of fats. You really need to have the good fats in that diet. If it's all bad fat, then your cholesterol will really start to skyrocket. But carbohydrates, we know, are the reason why people are overweight, because we're giving our body energy and we're not using it. So when your body doesn't use energy, you don't pee or poop it out, it gets stored as fat. So you already have the energy. If you are 10, 20 pounds overweight, your body has the energy to do work. Now, fat is a very poor way of energy usage. Your body's not so good at using the fat as energy as it is with glycogen, which is sugars and stuff like that stored in the muscles and stuff. But you can't give your body the energy when it already has it and you're not using it. Alright guys, so that's weight loss. have less carbohydrates, more proteins, and more fats, okay? You might give me this BS about having fats being more calories than carbohydrates or proteins, but it's used differently in the body. Carbohydrates have one purpose, and that's for energy. If you're not using the energy, it will be stored as fat. And one general tip for anyone trying to lose weight, if you are 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds overweight, you're probably just, most problem people have is having carbohydrates at night. If you just have proteins and complex carbohydrates, as in vegetables, at night, you will actually start seeing very good success with that. Eventually that will plateau and you'll have to start changing what you eat during the day, but generally if you're only part of your day that you're changing is at night, where you're really not eating much, going to bed on an empty stomach is proven to work. All right, I'll see you guys next time.